Hello and welcome to Season 3 of Meet The Drapers, Brand Accelerator. Every week, 3 entrepreneurs pitch their startups to the Drapers and a VIP guest judge. Every episode, the judges declare a winner to move on to the semifinals.
And the winner is...
But here's the twist. You, the viewer, can invest in any and all of these startups. Like a company? Go to meetthedrapers.com and invest in their live crowdfunding campaign, and you can bring them back for the season finale.
The crowd is voting in 3 of our finalists.
This is your shot to invest like a venture capitalist. Now, let's make some money.
Welcome to Meet the Drapers. I'm Tim Draper. I'm a venture capitalist and also helped start Draper University. To my right is my father, Bill Draper, a pioneering venture capitalist who then created venture philanthropy with DRK Foundation. And to my left is Polly Draper, famous actress, also a director, producer, and writer of many really interesting movies and TV shows. And we have 2 guest judges today. Asra Nadeem and Juan Acosta run Draper University. They're going to tell you all about what it's like to accelerate entrepreneurs, to accelerate people, and drive them to do extraordinary things. Asra, Juan, thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having us. It's
Great.
Exciting.
So tell us about Draper University and what you've done and how it's going.
So what we do at Draper University is a 5-week entrepreneurship program, and that program not only helps them accelerate who they are as people and turn these ordinary, amazing humans into superheroes, but also gives them access, which is one of the biggest things that you need as a startup. It gives them access to some of the brightest minds and some of the best capital that they can access in Silicon Valley.
Terrific. And Juan,
Yes.
You run the product. Tell us about that.
It's a fantastic program, Tim. You were the one that created the vision for it, and Asra said it right. We turn humans into heroes. That's what we're all about. So we ignite people, we accelerate ideas, and we do that by igniting the entrepreneurial spirit. And one really interesting thing that we do is we invest in some of these awesome people. And what's great about that is that we get to live with them for 5 weeks. Unlike any other venture firm or venture ecosystem out there, we really get to know the entrepreneurs.
So let me get a few of the numbers straight. About 1,200 students.
Yes.
They've come from
81 different countries.
81 different countries.
Yes.
They've started 350 companies?
We're at 362.
Okay,
after the last batch.
362 companies.
They've raised over $220 million in venture funding altogether.
Wow.
And give us a few examples of some of the highlights. Some of the big
Sure.
winners.
So we've got from all across industries, Tim. We have Quantum, which is one of the largest blockchain projects in the world that actually started at Draper University.
Really?
We have a company called Pretty Litter. So they actually make cat litter, and they're doing extremely well. So you have something from the blockchain space all the way to cat litter. We've got it all.
And the story I love is that Serbi Sarna, who created a fiber line that could go up the fallopian tube and detect whether you had cancer, and that had never been done before. She got very quick FDA approval and sold her business for $275 million, and now she's on our board.
We see that whole cycle from the very, very first class to their entire journey, and we're really proud to be part of that journey.
Terrific. Well, so of our 3 semifinalists, one of the 3 actually came from Draper University, and you'll have to figure out who that is.
Nice.
So we're going to dig deep now and really figure out which of these go on to the finals. And so we're quite excited about what we're about to see. So let's bring out these entrepreneurs, and we'll give them the 3rd degree.
I'm Manuela. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alpha.
And I'm Renata. I'm the COO and co-founder of Alpha.
And through Alpha, we found a way to connect creators which wanted to sell their work and buyers which needed to fill their walls.
We're a B2B marketplace connecting companies to the visual arts. And our mission is to revolutionize the way that everyone in the world interacts with art.
Oh, I've got it. It's Alpha.
I think, we won because we have a very good business. We're really looking at art in a very different way, and we can really change how people live with it. Coming in today, talking about the rest of the business to find a way to leverage the force of the Drapers and Meet the Drapers to get our message out to millions of people all over the world. Entrepreneurial life can be very lonely, and if you don't have someone to share it with, it gets very, very hard.
It is what you said today, together we're stronger, and I do think that's true.
Now we're going to welcome our first semifinalists. We are going to have some very tough questions for you, and we have new judges, so they're going to want to hear a little bit about the overall platform and what it does.
Alpha is a B2B marketplace. We connect companies to the visual arts, and our mission is to revolutionize the process of art consumption. Everywhere you go, you are surrounded by walls. Walls can confine you into spaces or be the windows into different worlds. From hotels, where there's over 264 million square feet of new space, to the world's best high-rises, Class A addresses, and large-scale projects with a combined total of 307 billion square feet of space. So the current process being used to fill walls is massively inefficient, incredibly expensive, and doesn't always reflect the owner's or occupier's taste. So a combination of the few of the projects that we've mentioned before and the number of hotel rooms in the US leads to a total addressable market for Alpha with the products that we sell of $6 billion.
How are all of those people who the hotels hire going to respond to this, and how are they going to sort of fight back?
See, you have to think that we're not taking away any jobs. We're actually adding a lot of value to the supply chain. Because for a good independent curator, she's still going to be able to be brought in for the lobby, and then we'll be able to collaborate and do the boring part of the business. Nobody really wants to work in the $100 to $1,000 price range. It's something that they end up doing to get the business of within the lobby.
It's $100 to $1,000 per room in a hotel. Why wouldn't anybody be interested in that?
A lot of people are interested in the market. I think what
I thought you said that
no, they mean that they're like, that's the boring part where we have to just get the mass-produced photographs that go in each person's individual room. They don't want to have to deal with that.
Right.
Because they don't even know where to go.
Those decorators might actually use your service.
Exactly.
And so they won't rebel against you.
Exactly.
They won't do what the taxis did to Uber.
To Uber,
exactly.
Absolutely. And since we do have this global distribution network in place, this gives us the ability to scale out these curators as well, and to get the artists that they already represent into properties in other parts of the world.
So my family's in the hospitality business, right?
Nice.
So when we buy a hotel, so let's say they buy a building in Ethiopia and they're setting up a 2-star or 3-star hotel, the process of buying art for that is very different. They will literally just go online, find a free picture, print it, and put it in all the rooms. Versus if it's a 5-star or like a 7-star hotel in Dubai or like somewhere, then the process is where they bring in curators. At least in my head, I feel like the other market is much bigger because there's a lot more 2-star, 3-star hotels. That's kind of what I'm trying to understand, is the decision of actually working with curators versus actually going after like the lower end.
For us, the biggest differentiation is all the prints we sell are limited. So if you're a hotel, instead of buying a poster, which is going to look cheap and you're just like throwing money away because you're never going to see that money again, you can buy a limited edition print, which has the potential to appreciate in value in the long run.
But do I, as a hotel, care about it if it's limited or not? If it's like a 2-star hotel, my budget for a room is $5. Do I care if it's limited?
We had a conversation with Oyo, which is exactly what you're describing. And what they noticed is when they picked up a new room or a new hotel, and if they revamped it a little bit and if they tied it back to the culture of that city, even if it was adding $20 per room or $30 per room, their occupancy immediately climbed.
No, I understand that, but I'm talking about the art part of it.
That's the conversation we had with Oyo around the art. Instead of just doing exactly what you described of buying stock imagery, which will look exactly the same in every room, they made an investment of ramping up that budget of, I don't know, $20, $30 per room into putting something which would tie back to the community, and they saw the occupancy come up, which translates to more money, and it obviously will pay off probably in a year's.
Your relationship, you met in the business somehow, right?
We met through a mutual friend, but we became co-founders before we became friends, and now we are each other's family in a way.
your co-founders. You equal co-founders?
We're equal co-founders.
We're equal.
Okay. So what happens when Manuela, who is the CEO, says it's time for you to go?
You can say that.
I feel like you should answer the question, but you know where I come from.
I think our biggest objective is obviously the well-being of Alpha, that independently from the two of us as individuals who have this little baby, which is our most precious thing. So if one day she says, Renata, it's time for you to go because it doesn't make sense for you to have this role anymore, I would go gladly because I'd rather my company to continue alive than hurting it.
Tell us a little bit about the traction that you have, what traction's in Brazil versus the US, and a little bit of the differences when you sell to hotels in Brazil versus hotels in the US.
So 90% of our revenue right now is US based. Brazil for us is a very important engine for talent, but we do not like the business climate down there. We do projects which are good for the brand. So we're doing a hotel down there because it's going to be a 5-star hotel. We've been growing about 30% month over month since inception. If we were to put down a CAGR since day one.
What's your sales volume now?
Last month we did about $25,000, but that was slower summery month. And it was mostly from recurring channel partnerships. We didn't have any big projects coming in.
How much has been invested in the company?
We've raised about $700,000 to date, broken down through a pre-seed round with an angel back in the day.
Mm-hmm. So you're down to a lot less cash now.
We have about 10 months of runway right now.
And we have revenue.
Yeah.
So
we have a lot of revenue.
Right. And the revenue's keeping you going.
Yeah, and our team is in Brazil, like our tech team, which adds a lot of cost efficiencies.
This should be a good cash flowing business. Tell the viewing audience why they should invest in you and where you're going to put that money.
So please invest in Alpha. Help us revolutionize the process of art consumption, bring a lot more art to the public eye, and make people live better lives. We're going to use the money to continue building our team and to grow as fast as we can so that we can make this dream a possibility.
And so we can invest in artists as well.
So go to meetthedrapers.com.
Thank you.
And invest or vote or whatever for Alpha.
It depends on your mood. It can be Alpha.
Very good job.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Right. It went well. It was less of a pitch, more like of a conversation.
We didn't get the chance to talk about blockchain. We didn't get there, but I feel like that's actually a good thing because it gives us the opportunity to talk to whoever's interested about that part of the platform more in depth afterwards. We'd love your opinions on the platform. We'd love it for you to look at all of the art we have available and, be part of the art ecosystem, because the more art that we sell, the more artists we empower and the more people we can bring into the ecosystem.
So, what do you think, viewing audience? Or what do you think, judges?
I think these are two outstanding women, both committed, both knowledgeable, big potential in the future, and they've done well already in the past.
Juan, what did you think?
I love the founders, and most importantly, that they're making money already. One of the things that we worry about, though, at Draper University is looking at the world 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and how that business fits into that world.
When there are no walls.
Exactly. So
Smart walls.
The vision for the company, I'm not sure what is Alpha 10 years from now. And I would have loved to get that a little bit more from the pitch.
You guys have already talked about the business. For me, what was interesting was that when you asked them the question about what if the other person tells you to leave, and they talked about how they might outgrow this. And I just feel like that is something a lot of women's entrepreneurs feel, because they're always like, I'm not really good for this. And this is something that we see in female founders who go through the university. When they come in, they don't know how to ask for help, one thing, because they're like, I'm just going to go do this on my own, or I'm not good enough for this. But what they don't realize is that along the way, you can get coaching. There's like CEO coaches, executive coaches, like guys at Airbnb didn't start thinking they're going to run this for 10 years or make it $1 billion business, right?
Wait, I'm not sure what you're saying. You're saying
they need more confidence.
That she said she would be glad to step aside because she wants the business to thrive, as opposed to saying,
which was a good answer.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer, but it's also like,
I will learn what I need to learn. I'll ask for help if there's something that I don't know about.
I know, but I think what makes women uniquely more qualified in a lot of ways is their flexibility, is the fact that they can see past their ego to see whether something is going to function better without them.
Oh, that I agree.
So I think that what she was basically saying is the company is first, instead of doing what is an essentially male thing, which is making the business about them. They're making them about the business, and that, to me, is what makes female founders special and unique, and why we need more of them.
Oh, we definitely need more of them.
And I think it's interesting. They're amazing. I think they'll grow a lot with the business, and their heart is in the right place with it.
I like the idea that if you're putting a hotel together, that the art can be a little different but consistent throughout, so everybody has sort of the same look, and the brand is consistent all the way through. So there is a real need for this. And I thought they were great with the right experience, and so this is a real contender. Alpha.
Alpha. Alpha.
Okay, so let's bring on the next contestant, but before we do, let's see what's going on behind the scenes.
My name is Eli Calderon Morin, and I'm the co-founder of All EBT. All EBT lets people on food stamps shop online.
Nope, the winner is All EBT.
We won. Can you believe it? We won. They were super happy. They were excited about the idea, and they believed in the vision and the mission. Sometimes it's a hard topic to talk about. And for a lot of people, it's embarrassing to talk about being poor, being low income. One of the things that we want to do as a company, turn that balance around where you don't need to feel ashamed about being on food stamps or being poor or low income. Just because you're on food stamps doesn't mean you're not eating healthy, doesn't mean you're not shopping smart. We want to get across at this stage why our company is the right company to win. We have the right team. It's a magical team of people that understand the problem and that have the knowledge to make it actually happen. You have to be super confident. You have to be ready to go. Born ready.
Now we have our next contestant, Eli, a former Draper University student, have done some extraordinary things since then. Juan here has a little story he'd like to tell about you before you get going.
Like we said, Tim, when we live with our students, we literally take notice of everything they do. We were in the middle of survival training, which is an intense period of time. This is when all emotions come out. This is when weird things happen that we don't really talk about. And it was a really cold night. I remember we were sleeping. It was 50 of us out at night, and I was in my sleeping bag, nice and cozy. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I hear my zipper, and I see this shadow and this sleeping bag pulled out underneath me, and I'm on the grass. And then I remember it was you. I won't say anything else after that, but I'd love for you to comment about that and why you did it.
Survivor weekend in the middle of the mountains. We go out there, and there's people from Africa, from India, from China, all over the planet. They've never been in the outdoors in California in the middle of the night. We're freezing our butts off, like freezing our butts off. And it's me and about 6 guys from Africa, from Sudan. These guys were not prepared. They had no idea what cold was. And I'm there, and I say, golly, guys, we gotta do something about this. And then I said, you know what? There was this mentor that had a nice sleeping bag. Let's go see where that guy is. So I go, and I say, oh, I know Juan. And sure enough, he's dead asleep, middle of the night, on the mountain. And I'm, oh, man. Then whoosh, we grab his sleeping bag, And poor guy, I feel really bad.
Especially now.
Yeah. We make up for it. But we got the sleeping bag and we put the sleeping bag on top of us. So it was all 4, 5, 6 of us as a team, and we made it through the night.
How did that experience of putting a blanket on all of those people
that you stole from someone else?
Yeah, affect all EBT?
You know, there's a lot of lessons we learned from Survival Week and Draper University and business. But at the end of the day, it's about who you work with. It's about your team.
What is the significance of all-EBT?
Very, very simple. So EBT stands for food stamps. It's electronic benefits transfer. It's a very bad name. EBT, SNAP, WIC, it has all these weird names. And I just said, let's do all food stamps. And I said, all EBT. And I learned a trick from another entrepreneur. He said, if you're gonna do a startup, start with the letter A. Start with the letter A. It's the oldest trick in the book.
You've already got some customers out there. How's it gonna evolve next? And then what does it look like 10 years from now?
The whole stack of governmental services is kind of archaic. They're still using paper and things like this. This whole financial stack should be revamped. We should be giving new technology to the people that need it the most and leapfrog them forward. There's no reason why this couldn't be on EOS or Litecoin or something else. We're not doing that right now, but at a second iteration, we want to figure out how do we take fintech to the next level and give it to the bottom, to the people that need it the most.
You assume that people who have food stamps and use them are the lowest level economically.
I want to do a clarification here. So it's a wide range of people. It's people that are homeless and people that are just underemployed. In that range of people, they all get a mobile phone for free by another government program called the Lifeline program. And that phone has internet and data. And then on the other side, they have these archaic food stamps.
So who are you selling to? Because in my head, I feel like you have to sell to everyone. So you have to sell to the government, but then also educate the people who are on food stamps to use the product.
There's actually 3 customers: the users, the merchants, the government that provides the services.
So, with a scattered market like that, where are you going to focus? Because as a small company.
So right now, we're focusing on the user. And the user is the person on food stamps. And their problem, their pain point is that their food stamps don't work online. They can't shop online.
How do you get the word out?
How do we get the word out? The way I'm getting the word out is we said, LA, in our own community, go to the Department of Social Services, talk to our neighbors, our friends, make the product viral so they can share it, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. So we're doing that right now. That's where we got to. The next step is do a partnership with feedingamerica.org, biggest food bank organization in America. Do a pilot with some other companies that are already interested, maybe Instacart, Uber Eats. You know, these companies want to reach these people.
It seems like you have a plan, and you've been at this for quite a while now. What is one thing outside of your control that could stop this vision from becoming true?
We learned this real quick at Draper University. Can't stop, won't stop. We're unstoppable here. That's the attitude we have. I think the government, the way to work with them is to make sure the program adheres to the restrictions, prove out that it can scale to 1.3 million people, 1.7 million people, and then keep on going from there.
Okay, so Eli, I want you to look at the viewing audience. Our viewers can invest and vote. So it's your opportunity to tell them why they should vote for you and invest in all EBT.
This is a problem that affects your community, your neighbors, your families. And if you believe that access to healthy food and financial inclusion is something important, we would love to have you as an investor in our company.
Great to have you once again, Eli. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Terrific.
It was a great feeling, it was a great vibe, it was a great conversation. I'm excited about what the future has for the company and for our team and for the people of America. The most important thing is stay focused on our users and our customers and build something that they want. So we're doing the crowdfunding campaign. We're rolling out new products. We're hiring more people on the team, and we're on a mission to change food stamps in America.
Hey, Naveen, how are you? Meet The Draper. You're here just in time.
All right.
So, for those viewers who have missed this show before, which I go back and see the old episodes, Naveen Jain was a guest judge and an extraordinary man. He wrote the book Moonshot, and all of you should read it because he's been a huge success as an entrepreneur, creating a number of different companies, and Viome is the most recent. Anyway, Naveen, great to have you here.
Good to see you, brother.
Is there anything you want to tell these entrepreneurs, any advice you would have for them?
I think my advice is always the same. Dream really big. Believe in something that will fundamentally change the trajectory of how humanity is going to live. Don't dream small because it takes the same amount of effort to do something small than to do something big. So dream big, solve the problem that can help billions of people, and you'll create an amazingly great company.
And you heard it first here from Naveen Jain Draper. And now I'm going to ask the judges. Naveen, you're going to have to, well, you may have a point of view even though you never saw it. But why don't we ask the judges what you thought and what you think we should do? Do they move on to the finals or not?
I love the vision and the care for the people. I'm not sure if it actually solves the real problem, the fundamental problem of why people are on food stamps. I see it more as a patch and, moving on to the world and patching this system up, but why not address the real problem of why people are there? And I'm not sure how to solve that problem, but I'd love to see a business that does.
That's really
Okay, well, that's a whole other business.
That's
though.
great.
This is a way
I know,
to
but that's the way that's the way we look at them.
It's a serious problem that needs attending to now and not waiting for the world to solve the problem of people on food stamps, which is such a deeply entrenched problem. That's like saying, I'm not going to invest in this getting rid of the plastic in the ocean thing because I think all pollution needs to be solved first. And so I just think it's a little bit destructive to say that.
Yeah, but I think he's got a point that we have limited resources. We can't help everybody with everything, short-term, long-term, whatever. We need to focus those resources on those things that will have the biggest impact on the world long-term.
To me, I think the right way of looking at exactly what he's doing is because if you don't solve the root cause of the problem, you constantly have the bodies coming down and keep attending to them, rather than somebody's going to come across and is going to say, you know what, you no longer need the food stamp because here's what I did to make the food affordable, and boom, your business is gone.
Yeah, UBI would eliminate this business, although maybe he's the one who provides the digital version of UBI, of Universal Basic Income. What was your thinking, Asra?
I just think he's building a fintech company, but he doesn't think about it as a fintech company.
What you think he'll get there?
All of these people have mobile phones that are supplied by the government. It's a digital wallet. You can put it on that same mobile phone and have a much wider access that way. And my fear is that somebody like Stripe or somebody else would just go directly to the government and do this. You're building a fintech company, but you're not thinking about it as a fintech company.
Dad, what did you think?
I didn't understand how he's going to select. You don't track who's got the food stamps just out of your kitchen. So that was my biggest concern.
Problem.
Yeah, I think it's a huge marketing problem.
Okay, well, good. Now it's time to bring on our third semifinalist. Let's bring them on, but before we do, let's see what's going on behind the scenes.
Hi everyone, my name is Arjun, like Argentina without the Tina. I'm the founder and CEO of HelloWoofy, a data science-driven marketing platform designed for small businesses and medium-sized companies.
Up until he finally gave the word that we won, it was so nerve-wracking.
Whoa! It's Woofy. Congratulations. You're the big winner.
And now that we have 2 new judges on board, I think I'm going to be making a shorter pitch to get them on board and get them up to speed. But it's all about making sure that our mission is conveyed across, that we are for the entrepreneur and we want to help everyone around the world. That's something that I'm going to very much focus on. and then also address the market. How much have we raised? What are we looking to raise? Things like that.
Now let's bring in our third contestant of this semi-final round, Arjun Ray of Woofy. We're going to give you the real hard grind now. Give these three a brief rundown of what Woofy does, and then we'll dig in with some questions.
Absolutely. Woofy is a data science-driven marketing platform designed for small businesses and medium-sized companies to finally take back the grunt work and the time suck that goes into coming up with the right copy, figuring out the right emojis, the right hashtags, and the images that will do really well based on data science. With 35 million data points on the back end and over 3,000 emojis, that's a lot of information to go through. We do it in milliseconds when the small business owner or creative marketer is looking for the optimum post.
So why is it that you feel you're the one who should go on to the finals?
It's a great question, Tim. Movements are based on hope. And that's been the theme of my life in the last 10 to 12 months. From finding a job, a full-time job, to make sure that my team could afford to continue on the project. And we shipped just a couple of weeks ago. We have traction, we have paying customers, and we have distribution partners as well lined up.
Do you have in sales in that short time?
So we made about
months, right?
So just about 5 weeks, we made about $2,000 to $3,000, and we have about 30 customers and about 5 to 10% attrition.
My first business when I was like 19 was doing this for businesses, for small businesses. So is the goal to try to take people like the business that I have out of the equation and give this to the power to the small businesses? Or are you integrating that with the digital agencies that already do this?
We don't want to replace anyone. It's the Iron Man suit. It's the augmented version of a marketer. So if you do, X amount of work, this allows you to do 100 times more and be more efficient.
How is it different what Google or other platform already do?
Google is a search engine, and that allows you to find the information from all over the world. But what it doesn't allow you to do is come up with the right copy, and most importantly, it's not data science driven. There's not a lot of...
The Google Ads?
Google is a search engine.
I'm talking Google Ads. Yeah? The Google Ads, which is what the campaigns are.
Google Ads.
They have nothing but data science driven, nothing but. Yeah.
We're not in paid marketing. We're focusing on organic posting at the moment, but our customers are asking for us to do exactly what you're saying is paid marketing after the fact. But currently, we're focusing on organic posting. When it comes to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, those are the kinds of efforts that we're making, we're currently focused on.
So why can't Hootsuite or somebody else do this? They already have the customers and the data.
Hootsuite is too big to really get out of its own way. But even if you take a look at a company like Salesforce, that is even bigger, they're really happy with the kinds of revenue that they're making and the kinds of technologies that they have in the pipeline. For us, we moved really fast in 10 months, and it's not something that they would focus on at the moment, but if they see if it catches on, then we could have a strategic conversation with them.
Or they will bury you.
How are you going to get the word out? How do you do your marketing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Facebook groups have been our focus for the most part. We've identified in all the groups that we've been a part of over 100,000 potential users. And even a small percentage of that would mean a lot. We have a strategic partnership coming up in the next couple of weeks that would allow us to be in front of 850,000 potential B2B customers.
Are you using your own platform to find people organically?
We're using our own platform to schedule for sure.
No, but like finding people, because if your posts are that good, people should be finding you from your organic posts.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's a great tool to find the right emojis when it comes to marketing speak, the right hashtags. We're trending in all those ways. But our main goal is to help not ourselves, but every other entrepreneur around the world who so desperately needs a categorically new platform like this.
But if you're not helping yourself, how can you help someone else?
We'll help ourselves as well, but it's a part of everyone else who's watching.
Have you ever run an organization before?
I have. So I started my first venture when I was a teenager. It was an ad network. Then came to college and started an advertising agency focused on social media marketing. And then after that, raised a little bit of money in my sophomore year to build out a visual project management tool for advertising agencies. And that company went up to about 11 people, and we raised about $1 million by the end of college.
You've kind of got this serial entrepreneur in you. We're always looking for somebody who's completely dedicated to what it is they're doing and stick with it forever kind of thing. thing. How can you convince us that that is the way you're going?
It's a great question. So about a year ago, when we had $12,000 in the bank, and I told our investors, this is a situation, I've had to let go of a co-founder because of cultural misfit, and they said, well, you can shut the company down and we will invest in the next thing. I told them that no matter what happens, I will do whatever it takes to build this company, ship product, and get clients. Fast forward 10 to 12 months, we have exactly that. I put in about $160,000 of my own money into the company, all of our savings, all of our credit lines. And if that's the kind of person that you're looking at, is an entrepreneur that doesn't give up. And we finally did ship, and we are generating revenue now.
So what does this look like 10 or 20 years from now?
The next Salesforce, driven entirely by data science for every small and medium-sized company.
We're going to determine whether you go on to the finals, but even if you don't, the viewers can actually vote to get you into the finals. So for the crowdfund, can you look at that camera and tell them why they should invest with you and what you're going to be doing with the money?
Hi everyone. The reason why you should invest in a company like Woofy is because it's built by an entrepreneur that is building a platform for people like you, the entrepreneurs of all around the world. And the way we will make sure that we use your money in the best way possible is by hiring the data scientists and the other engineers that we need to build out the platform and make sure that we're building a robust tool so that you have a fighting chance when it comes to digital marketing.
We're really excited that you came back on the show, and thanks, and congratulations, and thanks for being a part of Meet the Drapers.
Absolutely, thank you. It felt really good presenting our case, presenting our mission, and I think all the judges were able to understand where we were coming from. One of the things that Bill Draper says often is that you have to be very empathetic. The entrepreneur you're looking at has spent a lot of time while doing a full-time job, running the business, before hours and after hours, and finally, now that I'm full-time, we have product in the market, we have traction, we have revenue, we have customers, and now we just need better avenues of distribution, get this product into everyone's hands who so desperately needs this categorically new platform.
He pitched me, and that's my main concern, is who is running the show, how committed they are, how interesting and captivating they are, and he had it all.
To the same note, I think this is a resilient founder. This space is kind of crowded, like Asra mentioned, Hootsuite, and all these other platforms that really help you do similar things, but I think they will figure it out.
Oh, I think there are people who are doing this much better. And if it's data science, then you already have much bigger companies that have access to those data sets to be better able to do this, like Google's getting into it. So now when you go and post an ad on Google, they actually tell you exactly what copy would work better, gives you suggestions and do all of that for you. I really like him. I just think this is not a problem he's made to solve in life.
I mean, as I said, decent entrepreneur, but this problem is going to get solved by someone who has much better data and just making your ad somehow.
See, I think the emojis are a wedge in. They get him in, and then he can start adding more services, and he'll get the influencers.
It's not a data science problem. It really is not. This is a very creative problem. I mean, people have been doing this who are very good at creating viral things, and data science tells you what happened, not what is going to happen. So you don't create the ad for tomorrow, you create the ad for yesterday.
Yeah, if something's very topical,
that's my point.
Right now, they're not going to catch it the next time.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be for more consistent branding for somebody that they would use this.
Yeah. If I were ever to invest in him, I would invest in him, the person that has been able to talk us into this as if it's something awesome.
What I'm going to ask each of you to do is come up with the winner of the three that you just saw. Might be tougher for you, Naveed.
Yes.
The three companies we saw were Woofy, Alpha, and All EBT. So, Asra, do you have a winner?
Yeah, Alpha.
How about you, Polly?
Yep, girls rule.
I'm with the girls.
Yep.
They certainly are going to have a great start.
I was torn only because EBT was what you said at the beginning. It's the thing that could impact the most people and change the world, and the other is about decorating walls. But it feels like it's so fledgling right now, I would be a little wary about putting money behind it.
I'm actually torn also, but it's between Alpha and Woofy. The Woofy business, I understand a little bit more just because of the first business I had was doing this for clients. And I think if he nails that experience and is able to get these digital agencies and digital marketers and small businesses that help other small businesses, if he nails that product, I think it could be big. There is a lot of competition, but at the end of the day, I believe in him, so it's going to be Woofy.
So you didn't see Alpha?
I didn't see it, but I think from what I'm hearing, I would have voted for all EBT. That's the problem worth solving. Someone should focus on it, even though it's not a root cause, but at least someone thinking right about helping people do better.
Normally, I just go straight to the crystal ball, but I think I need to sort of weigh in a little bit because I actually think that it's between Woofy and all EBT. Woofy, I think, could open up a whole new way of communicating, and I think that could be the future. And EBT, I think, could grow to be like all governments everywhere. Whereas, I mean, Alpha, two great women doing kind of interesting things. It is not tough to do. There is no barrier to entry there. So I am less inclined on Alpha. And so I guess we're just going to have to consult the crystal ball. Woofy, all EBT, Alpha. Woofy, EBT, Alpha.
I think Alpha is coming. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, he likes saying it.
I like saying it, but
I think he's going to sleep.
I think they are. Okay, we're going with all EBT. It's a big surprise for all of us, but I think that's where we're going.
I like hearing that.
I think GovTech changes everything. I think it is ripe for the picking. It's a big market. You know, the entrepreneur, he's got potential. He's been to DU, so that's good news. At least he's had that training. And he stole your sleeping bag.
He stole your sleeping bag.
For his team.
That story was just a little, I wasn't sure what the moral of that story was, but whatever. 4 people got warm because one person froze to death. Yeah, but he's still alive. The authority figure froze to death.
If the viewers out there wanted Alpha or they wanted Woofy, they can vote to get them into the finals. They can also invest in all those companies. It is in your hands as to what happens here at Meet the Drapers. So thank you all for watching. This was another great show, and we're going to see you next week on Meet the Drapers!
When Satoshi Nakamoto made a token perfecto.
We adopted him the last time. By the way, you are all adopted now.
Yeah.
We're all Drapers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
I'll change my Twitter.
Juan Draper.
I'm waiting for the will. I'm waiting for the new will for you to amend your will now.
There won't be much left there. Don't worry about it.
Our minds made the banks look funny. He kept his head down. He stayed in the dark. Way dark. Never know if it was planned or a lark. But the world past Satoshi forever changed. Whether his origin block is lost or unclaimed. It's still unclaimed. World is right. Bankers shock bureaucrats too. Governments don't